Hello, my name is Dr. Paris and I'm the Deputy Principal of Fremont-Elizabeth City High School. Today we'll be continuing on with our documentation for our major project for the ICT multimedia programming. Okay, when you get to the middle site, you need to download this. You'll see it in the previous podcast. This is our multimedia programming template. And we started at last session and we talked about filling in the various parts and we looked at the analysis. Today we're looking at the design. For the design, there are two parts. There's the storyboard and there's the pseudocode, that pretend to be code but not really code. Okay, the pseudocode or the storyboard gives us an outline of how the story will go. Basically a title page, an end. I'm looking roughly about 5 scenes. You can add more scenes, so that's what we're looking at. And the pseudocode gives you a rough idea of what to do when you're programming. And it should match those scenes as well. So we've got the 5 scenes there as well, okay, to match storyboards. But first of all, the story. In here, we type in the name of the game, okay, your name, you fill in various little bits. So what I did for the storyboard, I decided to sketch. Now, what I've done, I've actually sketched on a piece of paper. And what it should look like, I use my smartphone to take a photo of it. And I then scanned it in. That's it there, okay. So there's my title, okay, the Fremont-Elizabeth City High School, and then my characters, so just my characters. So in here, basically what I'm saying here is that this is going to be an introduction to my game, my introduction page. Okay, and I fill in the various bits. Now, the yellow bits are what you need to replace, but you don't have to actually use this, it's just an idea. So I decided in this situation, I wanted to fill in the following information. So quick type, and this is what I decided to fill in here. Right, I decided to give information about the background. It's going to be a screenshot of the 3 pigs and the wolf. There it is. I have some sound effects, wolves howling, okay, in the background. A voiceover, welcome, like I'll be talking about the 3 little pigs from Fremont-Elizabeth City High School. And user will hit the space bar to go to the next scene, and that's what I'm going to do for scene 1. Scene 2. In scene 2, I decided I'm going to do the following. Okay, you can follow these prompts here, descriptions, but I decided I'm going to add that. Okay, so background, I'm going to have a house made of straw in the middle of the street or forest, of a forest. I'm going to sound effects, wind howling, a narrator will read the storyline. And the user will hit the space bar. So here we go. And then again, I drew it on a piece of paper with pen with pencil. I took a picture of it with my smartphone, and then I captured it, and that's it. So there it is. You'll hear the wolf saying, little piggy, let me in. I want to go," and the pig will say no, and then the wolf blows it down. Okay. In the next scene, scene 3. This, by the way, I should call it the House of Straw. House of Straw. There we go. This one will be the House of Sticks. Sticks. Okay. Now, in this scene, I've decided, you can fill in those bits there, or you can write your own. I decided I'm going to do the following, and I'm going to go background with the house made of sticks in the middle of a city park. Birds will be chirping, narrator read the storyline, and then the user, the kid will hit the space bar to go to the next scene. Again, what I did, I drew what it's going to look like with a pencil, and then I took a snapshot of it, a photo of it with my smartphone. And there it is. I've got it in there. Okay, starting to look good. Right, going to my next scene. The next scene will be the house. Oops, what's up there? Right. It will be the House of Bricks. So what happens in this scene? This scene here, we're going to have the following. Actually, what I might do is split the screen because we're going onto a new page, and we'll just insert a new page. Page break, here we go. In here, in this scene, I'm going to have the following. A house made of bricks in the middle of this countryside, river flowing noises, narrate the story, and use a spacebar to go to the next screen. So again, draw the scene on a piece of paper, with a pencil, take a picture with your camera or your phone, and then copy it in there. So the narrator reads the storyline. The storyline here will be a little wolf or a little pig let me in. The pig will say no, and the wolf blows down his house of sticks or bricks. Oh, that's the wrong one, do I? Oh, sorry, wrong one. I need to do the house of bricks here. So get rid of this one here, and add the house of bricks. And then the house might be blown down a house of bricks. Okay, and then finally we end up with the end. And so we just might as well put this scene here as the end scene. That's fine. Okay, and we're going to have here the following. Basically, you put your name there instead of the yellow bits, right? And in this scene here, put some information. The background, we blown around houses, so we'll show each of the houses, the straw, the sticks and the bricks, and they'll be burning, and only the brick survives obviously. There'll be a droning sound of a bell every time you see a new house, demolition, and that's the storyboard. Okay, next part. The next part is the pseudocode. So the pseudocode should match the storyboard. So let me just give a breakdown of that. There you go. That's the storyboard there. Scene 1. And let's go to our pseudocode right down here. Okay. The pseudocode. Right. The pseudocode starts off to match the scene. In this case, right, what we're going to do is the following. Okay. The program will be called 3 Pigs. Right, we set the background to intro. We set the background sound to wolves howling. There's a wolf howl, right? Okay. The display here will be 3 Little Pigs by Paul Paris. Oh, there it is, by down here. Fremont-Elizabeth High School, yep. And then there'll be a welcome play. You can't see the welcome play, but yeah, the soundtrack, you know, welcome, the voiceover, right there. Okay, scene 2. There's scene 2, so the pseudocode for scene 2 should be right here. In scene 2, we're going to do the following. Okay, click type. There we go. In scene 2, we set the background to straw house. So let's look, straw house, yep. The sound being wind blowing, there you go. Play the house of straw. That'll be the voiceover, and then a space bar to go to the next scene. So broadcast to the next scene, scene 3. Ready to go. Okay, we move on to the next scene, scene 3 of the storyboard. The pseudocode should match it again. So let's go to scene 3. Now, in scene 3, we do the following. There it is. Set the background to stick house, yep. Set background sound to birds chirping. Play house of sticks, up with the voiceover, right? Little pig let me in, people say no, and then we'll blow it over. Okay, then once you've done that, on the space bar, that broadcasts scene 4. In other words, when the space bar is hit, it goes to scene 4. There's scene 4, and scene 4 should match up the storyboard 4. Okay, scene 4. Scene 4 involves the house of bricks. Here we go. So you set the background to brick house. Okay. Set the background sound to river, the river flowing. Play the sound, just a bit of sound, voiceover. House of bricks. You know, little bit let me in. No, I won't. And then they try to blow it down. They can't. On space bar, when they hit the space bar, then they go to scene 5. Scene 5. Okay, we'll do it at the end. Here we go. And scene 5 should look like this. There's a pseudocode for that. Begin, set a background to blown houses, so one house at a time be the sticks, and then followed by the straw, sticks, and then there'll be droning sounds of the bell every time you see a new house. And you see the animation of it being burning, except for the last bit, which is the house of brick stays, and it's the end, right? That's pseudocode. A pseudocode, begin, uppercase, end, uppercase, all the important words that need to be programmed, set, display, and uppercase, anything you make up, right, as a programmer, in lowercase, uppercase, lowercase, okay? And that's your pseudocode, and that's it for your section on design. Thank you for watching.